At 17, I learned that every man is born with a hole in him the size of God. I call this hole the thirst. Regardless of the amount of trophies, money, partners, beers, cigarettes, drugs, despite all the things in general that we acquire and consume, we will never be able to fill an infinite hole with these finite objects. My name is Damion B Sanders, and this is the story of how I came to this conclusion.
I know you've been thirsting. Sometimes it feels like you're the only one hurting. Through all your searching, change is gonna come. Never give up. A few more clouds and the rain will let up. You gotta get up. Change is gonna come.
Seems like yesterday when my parents burned incense and consented to be intimate with the intent of extending a lineage. Oh, and in an instant I transformed from zygote to infancy. At first, the sentiment was intense, till they found evidence of emotional dependence. Since then, I was sentenced to a 13-year residence with my uncle and his in-laws, who, after grieving his loss, got ticked off and would force me to stay indoors and would endorse sick thoughts. Me living there, his fault. Then they began to enforce with sticks, cords, brutal beatings without ceasing, and evenings without eating, sleeping with mice creeping. I'm grieving over the harsh treatment, just pleading to see 10. But even through the weeping, I'm still seeking a God to believe in, and only found retreat when a neighbor who was a deacon took me to Prince of Peace Baptist on weekends, where I, through preachings and teachings, heard about Jesus but hadn't received him. Then he came to me on a gentle breeze and said,
I know you've been thirsting. Sometimes it feels like you're the only one hurting. Through all your searching, change is gonna come. Never give up. A few more clouds and the rain will let up. You gotta get up. Change is gonna come.
Then one day, like magic, Mama found the address and explained the task it took to escape the casket, and from the passage of a ravaged crack at it. And we buried the hatchet as we sat on the edge of the mattress and chatted. And from what she gathered, added up, I too had been shattered. My lips chapped and my shoes tattered. My weight far below average. And before I could ask it, she said, boy, grab your baggage. And we escaped the scenes of the flowers in the attic. But I was traumatized, scarred inside. Looked in my mama's eyes, our pain harmonized. Martyrs of common trials, seeing we lived the hardest lives, while those on my father's side committed homicide. We wondered, is the God alive who parted tides? Then God arose and said,
I know you've been thirsting. Sometimes it feels like you're the only one hurting. Through all your searching, change is gonna come. Never give up. A few more clouds and the rain will let up. You gotta get up. Change is gonna come.
While Mama went straight to NA, I spent days smoking MJ in that staircase. See, the sensei was my sensei. But as the template I began to emulate tried to penetrate a generation, I received invitation to salvation through a saved friend. And I gave in, because from the playpen I've been waiting patient for the pain to end. And I caved in before the congregation, thanking them for the operation, changing my vertebrae from that of cavemen to that of Homo sapien. Thrice I've forsaken him. Thrice I've forsaken him. Thrice I've forsaken him. Thrice I've forsaken him. Peter and I were partners, but I went the farthest. Forsook the Father, missed my harvest, and returned from the hog pen starving. Yet he washed my sins. I got my crown tarnished and my garment turned scarlet. Bothered by the gossip and the garbage, I wandered from my office into the darkness. He told me to go to Nineveh, and I went to Tarshish. But regardless, my God forgives, and at last I found solid promise, and my heart is his. And for the water that the Father gives, and for the water that the Father gives, and for the water that the Father gives.
I know you've been thirsting. Sometimes it feels like you're the only one hurting. Through all your searching, change is gonna come. Do-do-do-do. Never give up. A few more clouds and the rain will let up. You gotta get up. Change is gonna come.